Good morning, fellow project managers. What is poppin'? How are you? It's been a while that we've had a little conversation, so I'm extremely delighted that you could join me for this quick review of resource management. Now, many of you have been following this Whacky Mnemonic series, wondering when more stuff is going to drop. But I can only do few things at a time, and I want to make sure I do a great job. And if I am not bringing my A game, then you ain't gonna see me doing no videos. So anytime you see me doing a video, you know that I'm bringing my A game to the table. So I thought we'd do this live for a change. Most of the time it's recorded and you don't really get the chance to interact with me. So I thought today we should probably do it differently. Maybe spice it up a little bit, and if you have any questions regarding any of the processes I talk about today within resource management, you can do that. Of course, we're using our favorite book, the PMBOK guide, to comb through this content. And you can follow along. You can open up the book. You can ask any questions you like. We are on to our studying of these wacky mnemonics, and we are on resource management. Resource management is a very important area because it has three executing processes. And I tell you, these processes are big. All right, so my name's Phil. I've been a project manager for going to 2 decades now, training this stuff to all sorts of companies worldwide. Praizion.com is the website, which is probably obscured by my big head in the view. But you can go to Praizion.com and check out our courses. Let's get down to business. So take a look at page 25 in the PMBOK guide. If you take a look at page 25 in the PMBOK guide, you can see that we've got 6 processes in resource management. 6 processes. And that means it's a weighty area. It's an area that really needs to stick in our heads. And I was thinking, what kind of mnemonic can I use for today? And I decided I'd use something that I like a lot, which you'll find out about in a second. But before I show you that, make sure you're aware of the postcode. This could help you when you're trying to remember the processes. The 2, 24, 10, 12, 1, configuration, 2 in initiating, 24 in planning, 10 in executing, 12 in monitoring and controlling, and 1 in closing. How about the knowledge area phone number? 766-436-3734. And today, you know what we're taking a look at. We're taking a look at this 6 right here. So we've been stacking this stuff up, folks. Take a look. We've done the 766, and now we're down to the 4, 3, and 6 today. That's a boatload of processes we've covered. So add them up: 13, 19, 23, 26, 32. So by the time we get done tonight, we would have covered 32 processes, or today, should I say, if you're in a different part of the world other than the US or the Americas. So let's take a look at what I have for you today. The gentleman on the screen, do you know who he is? If you know who he is, do me a favor and chat him in. Who's the guy on the screen? I told you I was going to choose a topic that I loved as one of the mnemonics. Well, for those of you who don't know, I play some piano and keyboards and dabble into a lot of other instruments. But I thought I should choose this great guy as one of our mnemonics because he's a phenomenal percussionist. I mean, he can keep you entertained. And not just that, he's got some amazing kids who play equally crazy music. I'm talking about Sheila E. You probably know Sheila E. You've seen her. She's bad on the drum. She's mean. And I know the gene that came from. You know, she's got a brother, Juan, and another one named after her dad, Pete, who happens to be Nicole Richie's biological dad. So quite a rich family in culture and history and music, of course. So I thought I should choose Pete Escovedo today. Some people may pronounce it Escovedo. Well, Pete Escovedo, phenomenal musician. So the mnemonic for today kind of centers on his amazing playing of percussion instruments. So the mnemonic goes something like this: Pete Escovedo. Always. Drums. Marvelous. Conga. He doesn't just play conga, though. He plays timbales. He plays any percussion that's beatable. He'll play it for you. So I chose him today because I'm a music junkie as well, and I thought I'd feature very selfishly what I actually enjoy doing outside of the PMBOK guide and PMP dogma. So what does all this mean? Let's take a look. The P stands for Plan Resource Management. The E stands for Estimate Activity Resources. The A stands for Acquire Resources. Then Develop Team. Then Manage Team. Then Control Resources. And if we split them down, as we normally do, 1, 1, 3.1 for those in executing. So ADM are those in executing, and in monitoring and controlling we have 2. If you add them all up, what are we going to get? 13.5. That is huge compared to some of the other areas we've looked at. But the biggest of them all was integration, wasn't it? Integration was enormous. Integration was a really, really massive chunk of marks at 25%. All right, so that is the lay of the land regarding resource management. So what exactly are we doing in each one of these? Plan resource management. We're planning how to manage our resources. We're planning how to acquire them and how to give them feedback. Human resources are giving feedback. Equipment resources, we have the control resources process, more for that. Estimate activity resources, estimating how many, how much of every type of resource, human, equipment, material, supplies. Acquire resources, this deals with acquiring our resources, not just the humans, but also the physical, materials, and so on. Develop team is about sending your team for training and team building and coaching. Manage team is where we're giving them feedback. And there is a rather important update in the develop team process where you update enterprise environmental factors based on the new skills that people have acquired. So for those of you following in the book into 9.3 and 9.4, let me just point out a couple of things here. So in 9.4, this is where you've got conflict management, big area, influencing, equally big area, and we've got motivation, how you motivate your team, how you negotiate with your team members, and team building, which is also big. Team building jumps out at me because on one of the exams I took, the 5 stages of team development threw me for a loop, and I couldn't remember the definitions. You don't want that to happen to you, so I would say you definitely want to go over the 5 stages really well, know it cold. All right, next in the list of things, we've got the manage team process. And in manage team, this is where we give feedback to team members about how well they're doing. We also have, at the end of the knowledge area, control resources. And in this one, control resources, it's different from acquire resources. Acquire resources is where we are dealing with human, equipment, material, supplies, and facilities. But when it comes to control resources, we are dealing majorly with the physical resources because we don't control people. At least PMI says we're not supposed to control people. We shouldn't control people. So I'll show you really quickly here, and we'll round up for the day. And if you've got any questions, you can feel free to ask. But the topics, the big ticket topics that I would say go back and hone in on really good is as follows. Organizational theory. So if you don't know your Maslow's, McGregor's, Herzberg's, all that stuff, Vroom, Go check that stuff out. The 3 estimating approaches, the bottom up, the parametric, the 3-point, analogous as well. Know all of your estimating approaches. The 5 stages of team development, like I said, also known as Tuckman's Ladder. Conflict resolution is big. I actually did a video of this a few days back. Decision making, also a very important one. Problem solving, which you'll come across in control resources. Training, team building, individual and team assessments. Know the difference between that and team performance assessment. And when it comes to team performance, just understand what exactly happens. What's the dynamic after the team is trained? What happens to enterprise environmental factors? They get updated. So this is one of those EEF mentions in develop team. At the end of that, just know what's going on there. Okay. And with that, folks, we have come to the end of our review of resource management mnemonics. This video will be posted within the next few hours. So those of you watching after the fact, it was live, but it will not be posted as live. Okay. Now will be a chance to answer any questions you may have about resource management. Questions, comments, concerns, moans, groans, and woes. I would love to answer those for you right now if you've got any. I'll give it a minute, and if there are none, I'll just remind you that on the 29th of September, we're having a boot camp. We're having a 6-hour boot camp, and we're going to be covering every single process in the PMBOK guide. And we're going to be doing it by process group, not by knowledge area. Okay? So for those of you who want to join, who want to sign up, go to pmsucceed.com. You want to look in the menu for the 6-hour boot camp, hit that, sign up, and you will have a blast. I can assure you, you will truly enjoy the training. But not just that, you'll also come away with a lot of understanding, deeper understanding across all of the process groups and all of the knowledge areas. Okay, so questions, comments, frustrations. Is it frustrating you, this PMBOK guide? Okay, if there are no comments, no moans or groans or frustrations, I want to say thank you to those of you joining. Those of you in the Asia Pacific, you're probably getting ready to close it for a day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Those of you who are going to be watching this after the fact, same. I wish you a wonderful weekend. And I look forward to seeing some of you in the boot camp. All right. Well, thank you very much. And all the best in your project management prep. Bye for now. See you later, Gator. Adios.